Hello everybody and welcome back to the Bayonetta 2 walkthrough. So now that we've completed Chapter 1, we have access to the Gates of Hell from the Chapter Select screen, which is a godsend, because it means that you can just go through the main levels without needing to bother about the shop. It's a nice little helpful thing, to be honest. Now I will say that for the majority of the walkthrough, I will be only focusing on getting the Witch Hearts and the Moon Pearls, because those are the things that are the most helpful to me. I could be spending money on getting the alternate versions of the weapons, which is something you can do, and also the accessories, but I generally don't need the alternate weapons because I have certain sets that I stick to. So I don't need, like, the two swords just yet, or kind of at all really, because it's not a style that I like to use. And the accessories are generally very expensive, so you have to save up, so I'd rather get something that I can get quicker. Now one thing that's an awesome change for Bayonetta 2 is that you can actually change your equipment and accessories from the Chapter Select screen, which you couldn't do in the original game, and it was massively frustrating. But you can do it here, which is wonderful. The only thing that I wish you could do is like, look at the bewitchments and all that sort of stuff, because you still can't access all of that. So this is basically the Rakshasa blades. I can never remember the actual name, because it's complicated. Also, I love this cutscene. It's hilarious.
So, our fates and our paths cross once again.
I believe music here is Moonstruck Lovers.
Whoa! Bingo.
Oh, that'll be Moonstruck Lovers just there. Ah, Luca.
Fleur de la Reine, Maid of Nerine, also known as Diamond Lilies, I think. The name Nerine is derived from the Nereids, or sea nymphs. Quite appropriate for this city.
God damn it, you're doing my job for me, Luca.
Will you quit calling me that? I'm not a pet, or a cat. Oh wait, you said Luca. Not used to that. How are you, Bayonetta?
No matter where I am, you always know how to make an entrance. Nice glasses.
Oh, these? Rodan has a soft spot for Shinshu sake from Japan. It was an easy trade to get him to make these for me. And don't get it twisted, Bayonetta. I'm not stalking you. This time at least. Look, I know you've got nothing but secrets. Hell, that goes for anyone, right? But if there's one thing I've learned in my line of work, it's when I found you, I found the story.
What on earth are you on about this time?
Don't act dumb with me. You know the story better than anyone. The Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages, two clans that wielded incredible power just 500 years ago. The clans of the Overseer, watching over us all with the eyes of the world, the power to govern light and darkness. But now I know that there really was an Overseer. And this Overseer is the one who created the eyes of the world for humanity. The same ones that the clans held on to so hard. The Overseer was the true creator. the true god of the human realm. The god of chaos.
The god of chaos?
From what my research has told me, that god used to live right here in Noatun. That's why this place has gateways to each realm of the Trinity of Realities. La Porta del Paradiso, the doorway to heaven, and La Porta del Inferno, the real gates of hell. Listen, I heard about Jeanne. What the? Some squirrels get all the nuts. You're a lucky little fella, huh? Never took you for an animal lover, Bayonetta.
What can I say? I took a liking to one of the locals.
So he's your little tour guide, huh? Look, I know this isn't the time to chat. Let me see what I can find out to help you.
Just don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong, Cheshire.
Don't you worry about my nose. I can smell trouble when I see it. You just take care of yourself.
Some things never change, but... Oh, I love Luca, he's awesome. Also, Ninja Cat from Metal Gear Rising returns. Now, there are numerous cats throughout Bayonetta 2 that you can find, and they all do Ninja Cat stuff, which is glorious. Now, other musical pieces during that cutscene were Fleur de la Reine, Here's Luca, The Eyes of the World, and Our Little Guide. So, I mean, there's a lot of kind of musical cues that happen, so they're quite busy, the cutscenes, and also the levels. Bayonetta 2 has a much larger soundtrack than the original Bayonetta, so I think that one had 153 songs, this one has 187, or something to that effect. Now, I'd say this particular Muspelheim is a little bit of a challenge, because you have to use the angel arms, and while they are insanely powerful, a lot of them are very slow. So, kind of, you've got to be very careful of when you actually make use of your, of the angel arms. And I believe that we are about to come across what is arguably one of the most fun references in a journal echo that I have ever seen. It's amazing. Now, one thing I will say about the blades is that they are certainly better than Sharaba from the first game because they're quicker and just generally better. And also I think that you can quite easily get a better combo with them, because the problem that Sharaba had was that you always got a really low combo score because it was very powerful. And that doesn't happen here, thank God. Because otherwise it would just be a massive pain. Now, don't go straight forward just yet, because there's optional stuff if you just go down here. It's a sneaky little thing, because I mean, you're not quite sure where you need to go, but if you pop down here, then at the end of the corridor, there is a lovely Umbran resting place that's got a broken witch heart in it. And it's something you definitely want to pick up, because it's so easy. But having done that, it is time for us to head into kind of our first proper verse. Well, at least we will be soon enough. Also, something I forgot about is that we unlocked a wonderful journal echo the last time, Leaders of the Umbra. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word witch? I bet you probably thought of some old grandma flying around on a broom, kidnapping children and saving poor little girls with magic. I've got quite the personal history with witches, so allow me to teach you a thing or two about their kind. Let me tell you, they're nothing like the fairy tales. First off, they find the spiritually gifted members of their clan and put them through intense training from a young age. If their latent magical abilities aren't up to snuff, they're pushed aside, even if the bloodline is that of the clan elders. These candidates polish their entire mental and physical being until they're grown women, and only those who are able to learn the complete repertoire of magic arts can then complete the final step to becoming a witch, a ritual contact with what you and I know as demons. In exchange for offering their soul to their contracted demon upon their death, witches are entrusted with incredible destructive powers. Witches with particularly impressive skills have the ability to push the limits of their magical powers and temporarily control their demons as if they were using their own arms and legs. Witches were said to have been killed off completely in the Witches 500 years ago, but it's not true. And here we have a new angel. The first actual new angel that we've faced, apart from Cachet. And this is Enrapture. Now the thing that Enrapture does is that it acts as a sort of buff for your enemy angels, so it will put them into enraged mode, which means that they are much more aggressive and much more powerful. So you really do have to watch out for them, because they can cause mass chaos if you are not prepared. Having said that, they're very, very, very easy to kill. It's just that if you aren't kind of perceptive, then you may not realise that one is there, and it's just happily buffing up all of your enemies and causing you grief. And now, rules of nature! Ha! Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. No matter the prosperity that modern technology brings or the semblance of order civilization affords us, we can never truly overcome the power of nature. 500 years ago, a massive disaster renewed the fear of nature into the citizens of Noatun. A giant tsunami is said to have nearly swallowed the town whole. The cause of this wave remains shrouded in mystery. One theory postulates an underwater eruption. Whatever it was, the truth was swept to the bottom of the ocean along with the rest of the city. You would never think it looking at the gentle waves that now brush the shore, but apparently whirlpools formed in the bay for some time after the tsunami, swallowing ships and people alike. Which is just terrifying. But, yeah, I just love that they went with the rules of nature there. Because it's just completely out of nowhere, and it just shows how much Platinum love referencing themselves. It's great.
What's this?
And so, we unlock a tsunami, but to get an optional verse, open up the tsunami, run back, et voila! Now one thing that's quite cool is that this was shown off during one of the kind of many previews of the game that were made by Nintendo and the Treehouse team. So, that was really awesome. That's the main reason that I knew it existed. But musically, we had Tsunami, the Remembrance of Time's Power, and then Big Wave, which is just really cool. So now I'll also have a quick moment. Luca is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, who, I mean, I've already mentioned that Yuri Lowenthal is in this game, but having just met Luca for the first time in this game, I thought, good time to do that now. So the most popular thing that you'd know him as is Sasuke Uchiha in the Naruto series, Teenage Ben Tennyson in Ben 10, Superman in Legion of Superheroes, Simon in Gurren Lagann, the Prince in the majority of the Prince of Persia games, the player in Sunset Overdrive, Sandal in Dragon Age, Alucard in Castlevania, and he's literally everywhere. Like, you cannot escape Yuri Lowenthal. He's practically in every game ever. So he's like Tobias Nebbins in Catherine. He is...
I mean, no. I got nothing else to say, love.
The remembrance.
Charlie McDonald and Jasper Batts Jr. in No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle. Yosuke Hanamura in Persona 4 stuff. Clavier Gavin in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Future Luke in Professor Layton and the Lost Future. Randall Ascott in Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask. And he's Patroclus in Soul Calibur 5. Luke von Fabra and Ash in Tales of the Abyss. Derek Stiles in the Trauma Center games. And yeah, he's just everywhere as Yuri Lowenthal. It's insane. He's arguably one of the single most prolific voice actors in the industry. And also he's been in a ridiculous amount of Platinum games as well. Because he's in Anarchy Reigns, he's in Bayonetta. I can't remember what of the Platinum titles he's been in. But he's been in a lot. I believe, certainly in one of my previous Platinum games walkthroughs, I've mentioned everything that he's been in. But I believe at this point it's 4 in total. And now, Path of the Chosen. While checking for leads at the town library, I spied an old wall print between dusty volumes. The ancient print depicts the sacred mountain Fimbulventer and a long corridor emerging from the summit. The path leads through the Cathedral of Cascades, terminating in a tall tower within the city. If accurate, this print confirms that, while the tower is a shadow of its former glory, at one time there was a path from the town leading directly to the mountain's peak. Nothing too groundbreaking about that, but the next mural I found was harder to swallow, to say the least. It showed people walking directly up the walls of the aforementioned spire. I thought the sea air might have gone to my head, but no matter how I looked at it, the truth was plain to see. There was a perpendicular parade going up that tower. Were these the chosen ones I had heard so much about? Were these the chosen few who could walk the path to the god waiting atop Fimbulventer? It's all very interesting stuff. And now we get a new version of accolades. There's quite a few of these guys. And they are very powerful. Also quite slow, but you've got to be careful around these guys. Although there is a really cool thing of that you can ride them and smash all your opponents with the hammer as well. It's really cool. It's a little bit useless when there aren't any other enemies around, but still. And so we've entered a sort of strange time thingy So I believe that was at the Cathedral, the Remembrance of Time's Power, and I believe the current music is Remembrance of Time B. And with that, we get the William Tell Overture, which is going to give us another new weapon, which is glorious. And if you want another optional verse, smash that Umbran resting place. And then you get this absolutely insane amount of accolades in a small space. Now, something that I will bring up about Bayonetta 2's gameplay style, well, its enemy choices, is that basically you end up facing a lot of bigger enemies in Bayonetta 2 rather than lots of mooks as you do in Bayonetta 1. And while it certainly makes for a slightly exhilarating experience because these are technically harder enemies, I don't know, they begin to sort of lose an element of their grandiosity, I guess, to kind of make up a word. It's basically because by the time you get to later on, you've faced so many of these kind of mid-big size enemies that they don't really seem that impressive anymore, because they are essentially the mooks. Whereas in the first game when you had the applauds, they were kind of so constant that you had a better kind of scale to work from.
Be right back. This one's gonna be fun. Been looking for a workout like this for a while. Ta-ta.
But yes, we had the wonderful William Tell Overture by Rossini. I'd say his first name, but I'm going to horribly mangle it like I do everything else. But I mean, it's turned up in so many places. Most famously as the theme music for The Lone Ranger, and also for the British TV series The Adventures of William Tell. And with it we unlock, I don't know what the hell that's meant to be, Kafka. Now, what I find quite amusing is that, I mean, Kafka is an odd thing to call a weapon. Because, I mean, Kafka was a German novelist and short story writer. As well as, I think, kind of having some quite major influences on kind of philosophical thinking. Because, I mean, his stuff was weird. And basically worked on alienation and all sorts, really. Now, as we come to the end of this chapter, we are actually coming to the end of it, it's a lot shorter than Chapter 1. And in fact, most of the chapters are shorter than Chapter 1. I will go into sort of our last, well, one of the last voice actors that I have to cover, because it's ridiculous, really. There's just that many. And they all kind of appear very early on, which is the frustrating thing. So as we face down this belief, Rodan is voiced by Dave Fennoy, who has not been in a huge amount of things, but there's certainly some stuff that you'd probably recognise him as. For example, Tetrax Shard in pretty much all Ben 10 stuff. Then he is Josie James in Lollipop Chainsaw. He's King Andre in The Curse of Monkey Island. He is Colt Kincaid in Tomb Raider Anniversary. And Lee Everett in the Walking Dead series. So, I mean, Dave Fennoy's awesome. And pretty sure that there's some fun stuff from Hideki Kamiya when he did his director's commentary of the original Bayonetta, talking about Dave Fennoy and just working with him. But also, like, it's insane how many new demons Bayonetta summons in this game. Because I believe that there was Baal? Or something to that effect. Yes. The Empress of the Fathoms. As she... Cause it's a she. That's odd. Now, I believe that's the only instance where you use Baal as a infernal demon summon to do a climax attack. But she does mostly appear in kind of using Umbra Climax, which is helpful. Now, Baal is named after one of the 7 princes of hell in occult writings, that was said to appear in the forms of a man, a cat, a toad, or a fusion of the creatures. So, they went with toad. And it's blooming hideous toad as well. Like, it's terrifying. But with that Muspelheim, Chapter 2 is complete. And we are about to go into a ridiculously short chapter. Because we actually get to face down a boss. Which is awesome.
You're making it easy.
Now, while I have been using the blades a reasonable amount in this chapter, it's not going to continue particularly for long. And also, I'm actually never going to use Kafka. I mean, it would feasibly be okay in the next chapter, because it's actually quite useful, but I'm not a fan of Kafka at all. So, I'm just not going to use it. It's basically a bow and it inflicts poison on your enemies, but it's not great.
Like my new haircut.
So, with another platinum under our belt, Chapter 2 is complete, and it's time to move on to Chapter 3. Oh yeah!